Howdy, it's the Rodfather, and this is another episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 2, Episode 12, A House Divided. Now, before I go any further, if you haven't seen The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, particularly if you're a Real Housewives fan, what you waiting on? There is nothing like it. It's not about black women fighting each other. It's not about white women fighting each other. There are real women here. You have a woman who runs a church. You have Mormons. We're learning about Mormons. You have Asians. You have all these people. Bravo got this one right, y'all. Did I say y'all? Yeah, y'all. They got this one right. So let me go on. We find ourselves still in Meredith rental in Vail, Colorado. Lisa tells Meredith and Heather that her friend Cameron mortgaged his house and gave $300,000 to Mary and the Faith Temple Pentecostal Church there in Salt Lake City. Cameron told Lisa they call church meetings and beat the parishioners down until they get what they want. And that's why he mortgaged his house. And the money he gave them went for Mary's surgery to have her odor glands removed. Lisa tells the other women that Cameron felt bamboozled and duped. And she 100% believes everything he's told her. In the confessional, Lisa says she's very protective of both Cameron and Mary. And she says, just because I believe Cameron doesn't mean I don't care for Mary. I haven't figured that one out. Well, Meredith, who's a good friend of Mary's, is pissed, and she's not going to sit there and listen to these digs without foundation. Lisa goes on, she digs deeper. She goes, well, Cameron's not the only one she's duped. So Meredith takes a hard right. And Jen comes up. Jen, who's just got out of jail the other day. And says, well, you know what? Nobody, and I mean nobody, listened to her allegations against Jen. So she's not listening to any allegations against Mary. Meredith wants facts. One has to question why Lisa's going so deep on Mary, her good friend. And we have to look at Meredith a little sidewise as she defends Jen, who was just released by the police. Lisa seems hell-bent on putting a wedge between Meredith and Mary. But Lisa forgets or ignores the recent history between Jen and Meredith. Jen's friend stealing a purse out of her store. And those attacks, those gay attacks on her son. So she's not feeling Lisa. And Lisa's friend Cameron, yeah, he's got stuff to say, but it's to her. So with the recent fallout with Jen, because nobody knew Jen was possibly a crook and stealing money from all these other people, Heather and Whitney wants a face-to-face with Mary. Just in case Mary's a little cray-cray. And between you and me, Mary seems like a little bit of cray-cray. So Lisa questions Mary. She asked her if the story is about her being a cult leader and believing that she's God and swindling people out of their money are all true. Mary comes back, listen, either you're going to take loyalty to me or what you hear, and that's up to you. You choose, without really answering any of the questions. And when it came to Cameron, Mary says, shouldn't it bother you that other people are saying things if you have a loyalty to me? Jen told Lisa that Mary is a cult leader. Jen speaks from the jail. But no, this is something she said a couple episodes ago. That Mary's a cult leader and people fear Mary. That's why Jen is But Mary's pissed. Mary says, listen, that's why Jen is where she is. And that's why I'm sitting where I am today. She lives a lie. And to say all these lies about me and my church, look at her now. She messed with the wrong one. Mary's kind of, okay. I'm kind of wondering if Mary's the one who kind of dropped the dime on her. Whitney hears Mary and Lisa laughing late night in Heather's room. She's bothered because everybody was just talking about Mary and how she could be as big a fraud as Jen, but y'all in the room next door kikiing like no one's ever said anything about anything. And she's pissed. Heather took Whitney's listen. She was asleep when Lisa and Mary came into her room, and Mary gave her a Louis Vuitton bag. Hello. Louis Vuitton. La, 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 la. And she said Lisa did talk about those allegations against Mary. Heather explains she was asleep, and Heather did talk about those allegations. First things first, it pays to be a friend of Mary's. Follow me. It ain't nobody's birthday, nobody's anniversary, nobody got a big promotion, or it's not even Botox Day. But Heather gave people gifts. We ain't talking about she had a coupon at Walmart. She gave gifts. She gave Heather that Louis Vuitton handbag. That's worth over $5,700. $5,700. But she's not done yet. She gives Lisa a Chanel clutch. $2,000. Meredith just got a lowly Louis Vuitton hat that's worth about $1,200. And the new girl, Jenny, wasn't left out. She got some Louis Vuitton shoes. $1,200 worth of shoes. The first lady spent 10 grand on gifts just cause. Hey, Mary. Rodfather in Sacramento. I'll be your friend. Glory, hallelujah. Yes, Jesus. Yes, Jesus. I'll be your friend. Okay, we're back. Insane. Whitney says she doesn't care about the gifts, but she's hurt because she thought she and Mary were friends. And they're clearly not. In the confessional, Whitney calls Mary a fucking two-faced, cold-hearted bitch. Are we clear? And she said she didn't leave the Mormon church to come this far just to revert fact, to lock arms with something she don't believe in. She doesn't blindly find Mary because she's going to get mad at me. She wants to isolate me, alienate me, make me feel bad. What kind of preacher alienates and singles out people to make them feel less than? Whitney's not the one. And Lisa and Whitney said, this is exactly how Lisa works. She ran her little snarky, manipulated fake ass to Mary and told Mary that we are all talking about this. And then she pulled it out on me and she said, listen, I'm not taking a fall. Trust and believe. Meredith wants everybody to go into a room. No more of this back-talking bull BS. You know, let's lay it out. None of this whispering behind the back and being with the other person. She wants to lay it out. But the new girl, the rookie wife, Janie thinks Miss Meredith is a little bit of a hypocrite, seeing that she hired a detective to check into Jen's life. Like, okay, girl. Whitney starts. Lisa, listen, I was never going to say anything about the allegations against Mary. Lisa brought Cameron into it by inviting to her event. Cameron talked to Meredith. It was a setup to have Cameron there to talk to Meredith about Mary. It's clear that she dug up information about Mary and now she wants to spread it and plant seeds and have everybody else do her dirty work. And you know something? Whitney's been 100% when it comes to Lisa. She can read her every move. Every move. Lisa. I don't control everything, and I'm not responsible for everything, Lisa says. Start taking accountability for your own fucking action. I'm sick of this. Mary says she doesn't owe anyone an explanation and jumps on everybody who's ever talked about her in a room. And when the women all got together and started talking, Mary went like, and Sister Woman, the First Lady of the church, shut all those women down. But Whitney still got to get her point across. Whitney points out it was Mary who walked out of the conversation, making it impossible for her to talk directly. Mary's saying, listen, Whitney, you're exhausting. Whitney's saying, see, she's super disrespectful to me. Well, Heather jumps in and backs up her friend Whitney and says, Mary, you are unfairly mean to Whitney. Mary says, look, I don't care. And she's still mad that Whitney talked back to her at a cooking class they attended. Heather says, you know, you've been horrible. You were horrible to her at that event. Whitney's holding on to her suspicion that Lisa's manipulating Mary so she can use Mary against her. Remember, Whitney's been 100% against Lisa. And for some reason, Lisa wants to be Whitney's friend, even though Whitney's like, I can read you like Reader's Digest. Like the newspaper, I can read you, baby. Don't try me. But what I'm thinking, and I told this to my daughter earlier, yes, my daughter gets a shout out. She's a big fan. I believe Lisa is using that old thing as like, she's keeping her enemy close. And her enemy is Whitney. Because whatever, no matter what Whitney does, cuss her out, walks and drag her from one side to the other, Lisa's holding on to Whitney. Heather tells Mary that in the wake of Jen's address, she feels they need to know if there's any truth, the allegations about Mary. Well, Mary's pissed. Mary goes, well, nobody questioned Jen's. Jen comes up again. I didn't ask for my life. I didn't ask for my inheritance. To compare me with what's going on with her, well, that's just evil. Heather says, well, you know what? I don't remember what happened. You know, with the blow up with you earlier because I was drinking. Mary says, I don't care. You're always on some kind of wine. Somebody's always driving you home. Mary's vicious. In a confessional says, well, you know what? I overlook the fact that you're married to your step-granddaddy, that you're horrible to a whole lot of people, that you're going to try to pin me to the cross, needing to be loaded whenever I interact with you. When people start drinking, when they come around you, that's because no one wants to deal with your crazy. Whitney and Heather both attack Lisa for completely changing the attitude about Mary from the convenience from the evening before. It's like y'all done switched up. Neither Heather or Whitney listens to Lisa when she tells about the change that came about because she had to talk with Mary. Ain't nobody, they ain't buying it. They ain't buying it. They ain't buying it. Heather leaves the room. I don't want to talk to any of you. You're all crazy and you're doing exactly what we said last night, what we weren't going to do. None of us is saying what we think or feel right now because we're scared of Mary. This has been a weekend from hell. I almost wish the feds had arrested me so I could avoid spending time with these women. Mary tells Jenny Meredith and not to believe all the negative things that are said and written about her because I believe in what I do. I was given into it, and I took it on like a woman, and I was a child. Heather Whitney decides, you know, given a choice of flying in a private jet or going commercial, they're going to go commercial because they just done with these women. Meanwhile, Mary, I believe in God. I believe in rescue. I believe in deliverance. I believe in love. And she's incensed about any comparison between her and Jen. And to put me with someone who would criminalize and manipulate somebody is horrible. I never ripped anyone off. I don't need to. I was born in the money. And Heather's not there now. She doing all her yelling, her little chubby self. I've been through this my whole life because people hated me for my life and lifestyle. And it's not fair to compare her to Jen. Or me to Jen. When I think about Jean, I see a heartless thug. You know, like those Mexican people that make all those drugs. Out of her way, the Vale house, Mary tells Heather, I want my purse back. She didn't say bitch. But that would have been great if she did. Sidebar. Mexican thugs. Mexican people making drugs. Come on, Mary. You another shade of brown. What's that about? But Mary's been accused of racism before. Last season, the very first season, she didn't like going to a particular store in a particular neighborhood where people like me, black people, live, calling it ghetto. I don't go there. I don't go to the ghetto. So I hate to say this, but one wonders if this black woman likes being black. I hate to say that. But she's clearly bleached her skin, and she's done some other things that I actually showed a picture of before and after. You know, she straightened her nose. She's done extensive work. That's the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Again, if you haven't watched it, it's doing very well in the ratings. This is an iconic year. I've never seen every show, and it looks like it's half season now. It looks like every show is hammer. This is a very long video for me. I try to keep them under 15 minutes, and I'm probably getting close to 20, so I apologize. But again, I don't get into politics, black shows, white shows. I saw the Real Housewives of Orange County. I slit my wrist. That's why I'm not showing you my wrist. They should cancel that stuff. It's the same old shit. This is different stuff. Yeah, they have arguments. All the women have arguments. But we don't have leaders of churches and information about Mormon, because very few people know about the Mormon church. It's just a big mystery, and some people even think the Mormons are a cult. It is worth watching. This is the Rodfather wishing you love, joy, peace, love, joy, and happiness on this day that we're all blessed. They're going to call me Reverend Rodfather. Thank you very much for sticking this almost 20 minutes out for me. I try to keep them under 15, but I'm so passionate about this show. My daughter and two other friends now are all, and like they're calling me, so I got this out late again. I'm blaming them. Assigning blame. Thank you for watching. Bye now.